Alright guys, forgive me for not being there today, but we're going to work with our typography tool, which we have not touched with before. The typography tool is on the left. It is the T tool, so go ahead and select that. Just like every other thing in InDesign, it has to have an object in which to put the type. There, you don't just start typing. So if you hover and start hitting your keyboard, nothing's going to happen. With your type tool, you can add type in one of two ways. You can click and drag to create a text box, or you can, I can zoom in for that as you can see. It says text box. Or you can take a rectangle tool, draw a box, switch back to your type tool, and when you click inside that box, it becomes a text box. So begin with a text box. I'm going to delete that one and the one that I drew before. The easiest way, once again, is take your type tool and to draw a box. Remember that Alt and Scroll lets you zoom in and out so you can get closer. And what I want you to do is type in your name in this text box. It can be any portion of your name, it can be your nickname, it can be your full name. It does not matter. But we're going to begin with how to change the font. If you look at the top of your screen, you will see different font sizes, font names, font spaces, all sorts of fun stuff. I'm going to show you guys what these different tools do and then give you a minute to play with them. So first off, these changes will only affect what you have selected. So take your type tool that you already have and highlight the words that you just typed. Now, there's three different ways to change the font. Way number one, hit the little down triangle and select a font of your choosing. I love Beavis, it's one of my favorites. Way two is to highlight where the font is typed and type in the font if you know the name. So I'm going to use Agency FB. And then the last way is to click inside the name of the font, hit the arrows up and down, and you can scroll through. It's in the up and down arrows on your keyboard. You can scroll through all the fonts, load it onto your computer, and see how they look in real time on your document. So take a moment now and just play with font. You might want to pause the video and just play and see what you can find. And welcome back. I'm going to begin back with Agency FB. That wasn't a bad font. Under the name of the font, you do have styles, so you can determine if you want it to be regular or bold. If you don't see anything besides regular, that can be typical too. There is no standard number of options here. The number with the little t and the big T is how big the font is. We never use 12-point font. That is just too boring of a size. It's too big to be copy and too small to be captions. We go anywhere from 9 points, or that was 8 points, sorry, up to 72 points. I want to take a moment right here though and talk about this frame real quick. If I switch back to my black selection tool, if you have lost your letters, if you were changing the font size and all of a sudden half your name disappeared, you get this little red plus sign, that means that there is more text than there is text box. So you just switch over to your black selection tool and resize the frame so it can hold all of that text inside of it. And then you're going to switch back to your type tool and highlight that font again. Okay, other fun stuff. The line under the T tools you don't need yet. This is going to be like how you double space writing. We don't type in all caps because there's a button that does it for us. And I lost part of my box again. Let me fix that. So if you want to do all caps, you think you might want to do all caps, type it in regular, click on the all caps button. If you don't like it, you can go back. There is small caps. Small caps let you have capital letters at the height of regular size standard letters. There is underlining. There is strike through. Unselect those. There is superscript, which is where you have something like raise to the second power. And there is subscript, like when you're doing chemical equations. So you have, like I said, options here. Okay, to the right, we have spacing between letters. So the AV tracking, you can hit the up and down keys to kind of spread out the letters if you want more white space in between them. And I need to get my first letter again. You can stretch a letter up and down. Take that T vertical scale, hit the down arrow, and you can make it 150. So 100% is going to be how it showed up. Anything bigger than 100 is going to make it larger. Anything less than 100 is going to make it shorter. You can also control the width. Don't do both. Control one or the other. Otherwise, you're going to get it really distorted. So if you know you want it to be a certain width, make it the font have to be that width, and then make it taller if you need to. So that's just a hot mess. Be careful about these pieces. They don't always look so good when you distort font too much. But once again, if you like to pause here and play with messy with your name, you can totally do that. It's a great time to do so. Okay, adding color to your name. So, zoom out a little bit so I have just a little workspace. There are a couple different ways of doing this. First off, the easiest way, just take your type tool and highlight your name again if it has for some reason become unhighlighted. And then remember that color comes from swatches. So go to your swatches palette on the right, and then you can choose any color that you like. Please take a moment to look really closely at my screen right now. Notice that instead of having boxes, I have a T and I have a line through an outlined T. This is going to be the interior color of the letters and the outline of the letters. So I can do a blue, it actually is blue, letter with a red line. I can do a black outline. I'm going to switch, and what I'm doing here is clicking to bring whatever I want to change to the front. So right now I've got my fill in the front, and now my stroke is in the front. My fill in the front, I'm going to say paper, and now I have just the outline. The second way to change my font is to take my black selection tool, click on the box that has a font in it, and then in this swatches palette, I'm going to select the T next to the square. Whatever I do right now is going to change the box itself, which I do not want. So that was Control-Z to make it go away, by the way. When I click on the T, whatever I do here is going to affect all the type inside. So I can now go back and continue to mess with the colors. Once you've gotten your font how you like it, and this is good enough, you don't want to have to redo all those steps again, right? You don't want to have to draw the text box again and change the size and change the stretch and the space and all the other stuff. So what I'm going to do is take my black selection tool. I'm going to resize my text box so that it's clean and neat. I don't want a text box for one word that goes halfway across the page. This is just going to get in the way later on. So instead, I'm going to take, once again, my black selection tool to resize the frame. And then with my black selection tool selected, I'm going to hold down Alt. I'm going to Alt, click, and drag for the rest of the words in my headline. This is going to eventually be a headline. This is going to be Copesack loves her dog. So what I'm doing, I should have done this slowly, is I click inside the box with my type tool. Control A is going to select all the words in the box. If I just hit the backspace button, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but you can do it that way as well. So, type my words. When my words appear, I'm going to hit my black selection tool to resize. This letter. Go to my last one and type a message. And I want you to do some sort of sentence as well. Very, very simple. 3 text boxes. Nothing too fancy. I'm going to do all caps there. Okay. Here's my favorite trick. You're going to switch back and forth between 2 different tools. Because at this point we want to control the size and the shapes. If you don't want to see these blue frames anymore, Control and H as in hot will make those blue frames appear and disappear. Okay, so black selection tool lets you move things around, lets you make sure that the boxes are the right size. The transform tool, so go back down your toolbar until you get to the one below scissors. Make sure you select the free transform tool. It's a black triangle with the box behind it. If you click and hold, there are other options here that you don't want. You just want the free transform tool. Then you're going to select the box you want to change. So right now I have dogs selected. If I want to change my selection, I have to take my black selection tool, change the box, and go back to my transform tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize the frame. I want you to think about what button do you think I'm holding down to make sure that my boxes don't get stretched, my words don't get distorted. And if you guessed the Shift key, you are correct. Every time that you resize something, make sure that you are holding down the Shift key. So there we have it. Because I was able to put basically all my words in different boxes, I can control the spacing between them, I can control the alignment, and I can actually design it so it looks not too terrible. This is only part of the story. Remember to pause me whenever you need to, by the way. The last step is to add the actual story. So this is going to be a headline. We need to have a column of text right here. So once again, remember to take your type tool. And notice that if you click where there is already a box, it won't let you draw one. So what you need to do is click where there is no box already. So I'm going to click down here. I want it to be as tall as the page. And this is going to be my story about Copac and her dogs. Switching over my black selection tool to resize it just a little bit. I do not want you to take your type tool, click inside here, and just mash the keyboard. Like that's uninteresting. Instead, take your cursor, so type tool, click inside the box, right click, and fill with placeholder text. Placeholder text is a random collection of letters that are grouped and spaced with the same kind of frequency of word sizes as actual English. It looks like writing, it's not writing, it's not even Latin, it's just letters thrown together. Your task is to create this basic layout using the sentence of your choice with your name in it. Your colors, your fonts up here, you do not need to copy me, but I do want to see a text box below. Please notice that I am currently in size 12 font, so I'm going to Control A inside this text box. I have my cursor, Control A, and I can then go up here back into size 9, which makes a whole lot more sense, and then right click and put the placeholder text. When you are looking at these lines on a page, it just means that you're zoomed out. When you zoom in, so I'm using Control plus and Control minus to zoom in and out, you'll be able to see the actual words. Once you've done this, you're done. Please feel free to do whatever you want in the rest of this InDesign space. See what the tools do, see what you can mess with. This is just the beginning of the wonderful adventures of InDesign. When you're done, don't forget to save it.